Welcome to the Circle of Birth podcast. I'm your host and advocate, Ali Kranz. These podcasts are here to gather stories, people and information to better our understanding of the wisdom of birth and how we can reclaim our connections to birth from conception and beyond. You will hear stories not only from Australia but from all over the world, bringing together women, partners, midwives, doulas and all the people that have a birth story to share. So jump right in for this next Circle of Birth story. So we're talking doulas today, and this is going to be a nice, short and sweet episode focusing on the wonderful work of doulas. So becoming one myself, I am definitely looking forward to the transformative journey where it will take me and looking more inward to my personal development and growth too. So with that, I spoke to a few of the doulas in this region at an expo, and I just got some little snippets of audio, so you'll probably hear a bit of noise in the background, quite loud noise actually. But firstly, what I did, I spoke with Rachel Vines, and Rachel is what we coined in the audio that we recorded as a doula elder. She's now retired doula. And she's just finishing up her last lot of training of student doulas this year, where she'll look at her framework again of what she's doing and sort of readdress that. She's doing some fantastic stuff in the community, and she was a pretty big part in solidifying the Canberra Doula group as to what it is today. It's a very supportive group of people and wonderful to see, and I'm looking forward to hanging out with these women much more. So enjoy today's show, and on the show notes I've linked all the contact details for the people that you'll hear, as well as some more information on being a doula. So to all you doulas out there, I acknowledge you and honour you, and I think you're all fantastic and would love to hear some more stories from doulas too. Okay, enjoy. Okay, Rachel, thank you for coming on the Circle of Birth to talk with us briefly about being a doula and what you're offering now and your journey into being a doula and the work that you're doing right now. So I thought we would just start it off, if you could tell us who you are and a bit of intro about yourself and your family, if you wish.
Thanks, Ali. So, I'm Rachel Vines, and I'm the owner of the Birth Yurt here in Canberra, a business, and also Rising Vines Integrative Therapies. So I'm a mum of 3 children who are older now, so they're 20, 18 and just about 15, and we've been in Canberra now for 11 years, and I've been working as a doula for about 16 years now, so in the birth world.
Great. And
go on.
Yeah, so how did you become a doula? Was it after your births that you decided that this is the avenue that you wanted to pursue, or before?
Yeah, so it was around the birth of my 3rd child that I decided to become a doula. And to be honest, I can't really remember why I chose to go down that path. I was at that time doing a PhD in anthropology, and I was had a big interest in Indigenous women's business and I guess women's spirituality. So I was doing a lot of research around that, and I was in the prime of my early parenting years and childbirth years, and I guess that something around that time sparked an interest in birth work, but to be honest I can't remember what that calling was. And I met a woman, Denise Love, in Sydney, who's one of the original doula teachers, and contacted her, and so I did my training with her, which was in the very early days of doula training here in Australia.
Great. And so Denise, I believe, does death doula work too, is that right?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
something recent for Denise now. She's moved on to death doula training.
yeah, yeah. Something very interesting to look at too. So from there, you worked as a doula for a certain amount of years, and then you started Birth Yurt.
Yeah, so I started, I was working actually as a community development worker for a little while, and then I did some other work, but I sort of had doula work as a part-time practice and then moved more full-time practice in the later years. I've continued to work as a doula until a month ago, so I've been practicing as a doula for about 16 years now, and I moved to training doulas around 2010. And I made that decision because I think I got to a point in my practice where I realised that just sort of supporting one couple at a time in Canberra wasn't enough, and that in order for women to truly, in order for us to have a big difference in our birth community, we actually need to build a village of women supporting women. And I came to that realisation that I couldn't do that alone. And the best way I thought to do that would to be train other women to go out there and support other women, but also to build our, really conscious birth community here in Canberra. So that's what I decided to do.
Yeah, that's great. Asked me 6 years ago what a doula was, and I wouldn't have had any idea. And I notice, especially in Canberra, it seems that the work that you've done and others have brought together such a great group of doulas that are working together, and it just seems like it hopefully one day will become, perhaps put into a hospital system where that can be an option for people to take upon. But it's just great to see the group that they've come together this way and to support each other and essentially support the women and partners in birth.
Yeah, I think so. And it's a lot more than kind of just supporting people in birth. My interest has never really been just in that area. Like, we can support women to get through childbirth and manage it in a gentle and calm way, or however they want to. But doula work is much more than that, and I think that's what I realised through the training, was that I'm not really, to be honest, interested in getting doulas into the hospitals and things like that, because I don't think that's where change is going to happen. I'm more interested in women going out to visit women in their homes and, encouraging them to remember that they're awesome, that they can already birth, and that they're becoming, women in our community, like mothers and elder women, and that, really sort of supporting women internally, even before they go into birth. And that's the community that I'm trying to encourage here in Canberra, a lot more than just kind of birth support stuff.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, definitely. Because there is just so much more elements, I guess, to just the birth, isn't there, that requires the support of a woman. And I suppose especially too, if you've had a difficult first birth experience, a doula could come in and be so beneficial for a lot of emotional healing and support, and directing the woman herself to the avenues of healing coming into that next birth experience.
Yeah, very much so.
And so with the training, what's the benefit that you've seen since you started the training that's spread across the community in the Canberra region especially?
Well, when I originally started the training, I was imagining that it was going to be a training to produce doulas, like in the original sort of sense of the word doula, the very practical, go out there, birth education and, prenatal support, preparing for childbirth, developing inner resources in the woman, labour support, blah, 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 all that stuff. And that's true to an extent, but after training about 40 women now here in Canberra and seeing them graduate and hearing what they have to say after the training, I've come to realise that actually the benefit isn't in more women being able to go and teach women about labour or support them in birth, but actually more women in our community, growing themselves as a mother and learning how to step into their most adult self and reparenting themselves and, becoming more conscious and present in their lives. And that's the feedback I've got from the women from training. Not that, oh, fabulous, now I know how to apply a heat pack to a woman or, support her in birth. But the feedback, almost 100% of the time, is I've really appreciated the journey that's awoken the woman in me over the 10, 12 months of training, and that seems to be more valuable than anything else. And it's those kind of women that are now going out into the doula world, not to just provide birth education, but actually to stand up in their full presence as a woman with another woman and encouraging her to do the same.
Wow. Yeah, so it's I guess a huge transformative event as a woman to come into this sort of training and look at so many aspects of themselves too in their own journey, and just like you said, come out of it transformed, I suppose, and able to assist other people in such a new light.
Yeah, I hope so, because we can't, doula means to mother the mother, and unless we know how to mother ourselves, it's really difficult to role model that for other women. And so the first point of being a, doula or training in that way is to be able to sort of do your own work as a woman and get rid of all the stuff, the baggage, the judgments, the things that that aren't helpful for other women to bring into their work, and to do your own work first, so that doula is really clear and present and available when working with other people. Birth and pregnancy is such an intimate time, and the doula is required to kind of move into this intimacy with couples in a really present and conscious way and hold that space. It's a sacred kind of contract with couples, and as a trainer, my goal is to just graduate doulas who are really present to that sacred contract and I guess carry that through in their work.
That's beautiful words of wisdom there, Rachel. Thank you. Do you feel like you've changed a lot too since training people, that you've come upon this sort of wisdom that you hold now since the beginning of training, and you've had some transformation as well as a woman?
Of course. I mean, every person I meet and every student and every class changes me, and I think that working in the birth world also has changed me as a person and a woman, and I guess I'm grown up now, whereas 16 years ago when I was a doula, I was very green, and it was all about women's rights and women's empowerment and all this stuff that I knew to be true, but I had no felt sense of that in my body. And so over time and working with people, I now have a much more embodied knowledge that I can pass forward. And it, I don't think you can really know something until you teach it, and teach it over and over and over again, and then you start to really get to the real essence of the wisdom of doula work. And I've had I'm tremendously grateful that I've had the opportunity to grow through this experience myself and then pass that on to others.
Perfect. So how was it? Do you still remember your first birth that you attended as a doula and how that felt? Yeah, I mean, I think I do. It could be an incorrect memory, but because it was so long ago, but because I remember that the first three, I guess, experiences, and I couldn't actually tell you which one was my first, but the first three have always stayed in my mind because they were the biggest learnings for me. And one was a friend and a very easy kind of delivery, fast delivery. One was a Scientologist who really had this 3-day labor of silence, and it was really, as a student doula, was significantly challenging for me to be in that
kind of space, you know, took everything that I had actually. And the other one was just, you know, really beautiful, what we'd call typical doula work of a second baby. And, you know, yeah, look, I don't think they were lovely experiences, but they said, I don't think I knew who I was then. So I think the doula I am now is certainly not the doula I was back then. I was very green. I was nice. I did all the right things. But yeah, certainly.
Did you want to be a midwife, or did that ever cross your mind?
Oh, goodness, no.
Yeah.
No. You know, of course it crossed my mind, but no. No. The answer is no.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you for coming and sharing that with us. And I know that I've got some recording of some of your students that have grown into their work, which we're looking forward to hearing. Do you have some just nice parting words of wisdom about birth and doula, and anything that you can offer, I suppose, especially for perhaps the first-time parents to be?
Well, for first-time parents, I would support them I really would support them to get themselves a doula, or to immerse themselves in the community of women to kind of provide for them a foundation as they go on their journey of pregnancy and birth. And, you know, I want to support all women to allow themselves to feel held by women in the community, or, you know, even generations of women before them, and to remember that they're not alone, and that, you know, they've never really been alone. And I think that if women can remember that and allow themselves to be held again, that, you know, it could be a really not just healing but awakening experience for them as they grow into themselves as the mother.
Your website is birthyurt.com. Is that .com.au or just .com?
Just .com.
Just .com. So birthyurt, which is YURT.
Yep.
And now, we just spoke before, you're sort of transforming your framework a bit, so you won't be taking on any more student doulas for a while. But stay tuned, I suppose, and watch this space. And you still do offer a lot of other sort of services, and we'll talk later about the breath work, which I'm really interested in.
Yeah, that's right. So I have one intake of student doulas left, which starts in September, and then that training phase, that particular training is being phased out, and then in the next year there will be that training will be merged into the breathwork training as a separate, it would be a different format, the training.
Okay, Rachel, well, thank you very much again for coming on and just sharing some beautiful words of wisdom for many people to hear.
Thanks, Ali.
No problem. So that was Rachel, and thank you. So I don't know if you've ever been to the baby expos before, but very noisy and very vibrant. So there is quite a bit of audio noise behind here, but here are the other doulas with their snippets of wisdom. Enjoy. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kelly Hermes, and I'm a doula. I have 4 children. Deanna, who's 10, Leon, who's 6, Kai, who's 5, and Joseph, who's 2. And a beautiful husband named Scott, who works in the public service here in Canberra. And I'm really lucky to have my family here in Canberra as well, to support me to be a doula. I wouldn't be able to do this job without them, to be able to just pick up my life where I need to leave it to go to births. My parents-in-law and my own parents live in Canberra, so they support me quite a lot, actually. To describe a doula, I would say what a doula does is she mothers the mother, and she provides family-centred support for women, really unique, individualised, emotional and physical support. we educate women and families about the physiology of labour, how to make labour and birth comfortable, safe, warm, easy, how to encourage women to trust their body and trust in the process of birth and make really informed choices if their birth isn't going in the way that they had planned. We also do a lot of postnatal work with them, most of us anyway. Some doulas are happy to just do one postnatal support session, but most of us do 2 to 3, and so we check in with the mother about how they're recovering from their birth emotionally and physically and mentally. We'll refer them to other support services if what we offer doesn't fully support their needs, but usually we can help to guide them with any issues that they're having with feeding or settling or looking after themselves as they transition into becoming a mother for the 1st or the 10th time. Alright, my most memorable doula moment, let's see, probably when I graduated actually. It's quite an emotional thing to go through a course to become a doula and then to actually graduate and step into our role as a doula into the community. So that was really significant for me because I had done it, and it's actually, that draws a lot of parallels to how I support women, in believing in themselves to be able to follow things through and trust in their process. So when I did that for myself and was held in the hands and hearts of my doula community, that was really significant for me, and I love to pass on that feeling of being supported by women to many other women now. People can contact me through my Facebook page. My number and email address is there, and my website as well. It's called Adora Birth, ADORABIRTH, Adora Birth. I do birth doula support. I make Ayurvedic meals for my clients, and people who haven't engaged me as a doula are welcome to order meals from me as well. I do extended postpartum support well after the birth too, at an hourly rate. And I offer blessing way, hosting and body art in the form of henna and body painting to celebrate a woman's journey that she's been through and honour what she's done to grow a beautiful baby inside her. So all of my information is on my website. It's a Wix website, so you can Google me at Adora Birth and you'll find it there on Google. A parting word of wisdom about birth, especially for first-time mums, I would just have to say that all you need to do is ask for what you need. Tap into your body wisdom and ask for what you need from your support people or from yourself, and you'll find it. Alright, lots of love. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Okay, so my name's Kylie, and I basically have 2 beautiful children, 11 and 14-year-old, and a wonderful husband who supports the passion I've chosen in life. I aim to assist a couple in the best way I know how, without judgment, with an open heart, and with the intention to enable them to see how empowering their personal journey and child's birth can be. I manage a herbal clinic. I went into doula work basically because it was an occupation that I thought I could do really well in. I feel that I can empower women really well. I can help them tap into their intuition, and I can help them see, find focus and freedom to move in birth, and I can help to anchor them and make them conscious and present for their birth. I decided when I was younger to follow that path. I had 2 beautiful children, such different experiences, but that's what really made me realise that I could really help a woman understand how memorable and how empowering birth can be. It can be the most amazing expression of life, where a woman uses their intuition, and she can really use her power, and I can foster that trust in her and her body to do what she's been born to do. Women have been birthing for many years, and I really feel a woman can have any sort of birth they want if they just tap into their primal instinct, get out of their head and into their heart, and trust their bodies completely. My most memorable doula moment would most likely be when I caught a baby at a home birth that wasn't meant to be a home birth, but just that moment of seeing the woman's face and how amazing she felt that she'd done it. As I said, my parting word of wisdom about birth, especially to a first-time mum, would be is just to let go of having to do anything. Use your instinct, trust your own body, and know you can do it. And just find focus and stillness inside, because that's what will get you through. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Emma and I'm a student doula. I don't have children of my own yet, but myself and my partner have been on starting our family in a few years. I've had an interest in birth since I was really young. I have an aunt who's a midwife, and she was always happy to share any information that I wanted to ask of her about birth and pregnancy and everything about it. I describe a doula as a loving presence throughout your pregnancy and birth, who's just there to support you in whatever you choose. So I started my doula journey in August of 2015. I was actually interested in becoming a birth photographer, and one of the pieces of advice that I received for becoming a birth photographer was to do a doula course so that I'd understand how the birthing room works, how to stay out of everybody's way and still get those shots. So I looked into the doula course and actually realised that that was what I wanted to do, that supporting women through pregnancy and birth was actually much more rewarding for me than just taking photos. The most memorable moment of being a doula for me so far was watching a new mum with her partner and their new baby just sitting on the bed as she was feeding the little bub, and all I remember was being in awe of how beautiful the birth was. She was just amazing. So people can contact me either by phone on 0421 958 232. Feel free to call or text. Or you can email me on emmabooth23@gmail.com. Parting word of wisdom for mamas to be: trust your instincts, trust your body, and know that your body knows what to do.
Hi, I'm Catherine Moss. I'm a doula based in the inner north of Canberra. I have 2 children, and I've been supporting women and families through pregnancy and birth for almost 2 years as a doula. I became a doula because I had some really positive experiences with my own birth, and I really wanted to bring that to other women. I can be contacted through my website, catherinemoss.com.au. For me, my most memorable moment as a doula was supporting a client who had a lot of fear around birthing, and we did a lot of preparation work with her around that. And when it actually came to birthing, she was able to manage herself at home for a really long time, and before moving to the hospital. And she actually said that the preparation was what got her to that point, and that she was able to birth really well and feeling really positive, thanks to the preparation that we'd done, which was really gratifying as a doula, and is really what we aim to do, to provide non-medical support, emotional support through pregnancy, birth, and in the postnatal period as well.
Did you connect with this episode? Then head over to our website, circleofbirth.com. There you'll find show notes, pictures, resources, and potentially connect with today's storyteller. Don't forget to sign up to be updated with new empowering episodes and content. Help the show grow by contributing a tip in the jar to make sure we can continue to better the podcast and connect more and more to the wisdom of birth and each other. Hey, and don't forget the iTunes rating. This has been another episode of the Birth Share Project. We breathe, we birth, we empower.